Top of the morning, afternoon, or evening, folks. It's Captain Liam here in Seattle, Washington. I hope you're well. Purpose of Check-In Tuesday is just to take a little bit of time and make sure that the crews out there do understand that it's important we connect with each other and offer support and guidance and advice. But today's about you, the audience. And I want to hear from you. I want to hear any questions you've got. If you'd like to request to join, it's down the bottom. We can bring you into the conversation. It's really about making sure we allocate time. Prestige Yachting, Andreas, Charlie Jackson. I hope you're all well on this lovely Check-In Tuesday. Each week we get more and more people joining. But honestly, please, this is about you as much as it is about hearing different people and their stories. So if you want to join, press request to join. If you've got any questions, I've got a hi bro from ITX, Carlos3 joined. If you don't know where the request to join is, I think it's a camera button there or with a plus on it, or there's two people with a plus. But leek and potato is the bee's knees. So Andres, feel free to request to join so we can have a chat, or if anyone's got any questions. But I think Andres is talking about my leak joke. I just posted a little joke we did with the crew where you call the crew up and you, hey Captain Jay Cole, Wendy Jamison, and you say, yo, crew, all crew, there's a leak in the main salon. And you can hear by the tone of the crew's response, they're stressing because of the value of the asset, the woodwork and the soft furnishings. So the worst thing to hear on a yacht is that there's a leak on board. Anyway, long story short, hey Kenneth, Wendy Jamison's there. Long story short, you end up putting a leak, like the green leek, the vegetable there. And when the crew member comes in, sees a leak, the penny drops and they realize that it's been a joke or a play on them. But I do love leek and potatoes. If anyone's got any questions, please put it in the comments. Hospitality just joined. Dade, Yachty Real Estate Investor just joined. And please put in the comments. We've got a lot of questions about resumes that have come up recently. I'm back on the bridge going over resumes. Captain Scott, how are you,
Good,
Scott?
sir. Very good, sir. Looking well, my friend.
Oh, back on board. I survived another holiday. I think
Yeah,
we joked about coming back to work to have a break, wasn't it?
yeah. That's generally what happens to me. It took me a little bit longer to get into it because I didn't realize how fast my feet were moving when I wasn't here on the boat.
Yeah, that was a big rotation for you, that last one, actually. You're all over the place in LA.
Last couple of them have been. So
Yeah. But
it
you're
is
well,
what it
though?
is. Yeah, very very well. Everything's good, man. We're getting ready for a trip heading over to Florida Wednesday, so
Are
we're
you
good.
still in Albany?
Yeah,
Oh,
very
nice.
nice.
Oh,
It's
cool.
it's a good spot here. A lot of people, crew don't like it, but I like it here. It's nice and quiet.
Yeah, well, I think it's a long way from town. I guess it's the main
Yeah,
obstacle. Is there any buses or local shuttles that do it, or they still charge $100?
yeah. I think they do, but if they really want to get out of here, they can.
They can find a way. Yeah. The hard thing about Bahamas, though, is that you either rent a car or
Yeah,
the costs do add up, though.
yeah. They do, but I mean, you got a lot of things you can do here. There's a nice beach here. If you're active, it's fine. You can go fishing. You can
Yeah.
kiteboard right off here, 2 minutes. All that stuff.
We've got someone who just wants to ask the question here. Would you want to give it a go? You feel brave,
Sure,
Captain Scott?
sure. Why not, man?
I don't
Bring
know
it
if
in.
it's Sandal someone, and well, sometimes if it doesn't work, we can always remove the request if it's not too positive, But let's see if they
Yeah,
join.
yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Hello, how are
How we
you?
doing?
Hey, I'm okay.
Yeah, yeah. Where are you, mate?
I'm by the shop somewhere in the bushes.
Ah, cool. Have you got a question for us?
I'm by the shop somewhere.
Oh,
Yeah, I have a question, obvious.
Yes.
what's the question?
You're like old. What you doing here by the Instagram lives?
Why are we doing Instagram lives?
Yeah, why are you live on Instagram?
Oh, we're just talking about the yachting industry.
About what?
Yachting.
What is yachting?
What is that?
Okay, it's private boats that, yeah, I guess.
It just dropped off, but I don't know who that was. But
No,
we're learning.
I don't.
This is the
Well, but
wonderful world of yachting.
yeah, yeah, it's not surprising. It's not well known to a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we'll try and next time I do it, I'll try and make sure they're a little bit more vetted. I'm sorry about that, Captain Scott.
It's all right. It's okay.
I've had a lot
The
of
connection didn't seem to be very good. I had trouble understanding what
yeah,
you're saying.
exactly. Well, the thing was, what's happening with me now? I've come back to the yacht, and I'll try and hide the names, but I'm getting so many resumes sent to me
Yeah,
now, either through social media or not.
yeah.
And we've talked about resumes before, but so many young crews are still trying to get advice of getting into yachting. Why
Yeah.
is that?
I guess it's just getting so popularized and stuff, you know, but there's a lot of like people I get the question all the time, and I'm probably going to reach out to Hugo with Superyacht Sunday School and just kind of maybe funnel them towards him because he's got the systems and processes and everything kind of set up to guide people that are serious, you know, because I know I can tell them one thing, but it just depends, you know, what they really want to do, and that's kind of the harder part. There's a lot more, you know, the word is out. It's you know, the show is out. The people are learning more about it. Yachts are all over the social media and stuff like that. You know that, you know, it's not only the television show. It's all social media. People like
Yeah.
to look at them, become popularized, and people are very curious. You
Yeah,
know.
true. But I think that's the problem. Though. And Hugo's great. So we've got Sunday School, and he's got a great platform, and I love
Yeah.
through that platform. But what I'm concerned about is with so many people joining, if we're not controlling the standard of entry into the
Hmm.
industry by doing the right things, like I think one of our guests, I think Sea Lion Captain's on board. Hey Cap,
Yeah.
Coastal Marine Management joined. But I love your post. Sea Lion, they do great work.
Yeah, they do.
Really
Yeah, they do.
professionally
Good
edited, good
stuff.
lighting.
Good
You
stuff.
guys are absolutely nailing it on social media because it's not about the engagement, it's about the quality of the information,
Hmm.
and that's different. But what I'm saying is that the quality of the people coming into the industry, it's almost at a point now where we need to say, look, it's not just SCCW ENG1. There's these, Yacht Master Offshore. There's these other courses, Efficient Deckhand, that you need to almost start at because
Yeah.
we're not seeing the quality of candidates that I think we're used to.
Well, and I think also, you know, I think also, especially like high schools and colleges also need to do a better job of preparing people for the workforce, you know, like show up, you know, there's a certain way you want to show up for any job, you know, like
Yeah,
certain level of CV, certain level of, skills and stuff like that. Any service type skill is definitely greatly appreciated, or any kind of water skill is greatly appreciated. Any kind of financial management is appreciated. You know, things like that are, you can't just show up. It's not the backpacker crowd anymore. Because it's a
no,
lot more competitive for these jobs, and it's a lot more. A lot of the requirements have gone up.
yeah, which is a
People
good
are
thing.
doing people are doing a lot more. Even on most boats, they have like someone on the crew that's doing all the social media, like you said, doing the
Yeah,
video editing and stuff. And that's a skill you can't just get overnight. That's not something you just learn overnight. It's not that easy.
no, we're looking at crewing up. I think right now we're getting towards the end of our winter period. So
Yeah.
in the next 2 months, we're looking at employing kind of 6 to 8 people.
Mm.
And that's why it's kind of got me thinking. I've got so many resumes coming across my desk. And I'm like, okay, how do I start this process? And,
Yeah.
and where do I go? Because you've gone through all I've got all the access to the crew networks and the
Yeah.
agencies, and with social media, it's available too. But companies like Sage Seas, it's still trying to find people that align with the onboard culture. That seems to
Yeah,
be the hardest connection.
yeah. Well, you know what I've had good luck with is just you know, building from the department's heads first, and let them be 90% of the process. You know what I mean? Like, cause they're going to be the ones dealing when building their team. So they're going to, have them do 90% of the work or 95%. And you just kind of get together and, take the top three, kind of go
Yeah.
from there, or five or whatever, but it's a lot to go through. I mean, any way you look at it. I
I,
mean,
I, I challenge you this though. I always tell people employ someone as good, if not better than you.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
people naturally won't, Cap. Like
Yeah, I
that.
know.
To me, if I choose a first officer, I'm naturally going to be threatened if a chief officer has a
Yeah,
3,000 ton and he's as good, if not better than me. But that's
yeah,
who I should be employing.
yeah. I've learned to live with that because I
Yeah,
really want them to go and be a lot better than I am. And plus, if safety in mind, if something happens to me, this guy can take over, or this lady can jump right in. And also you want to be able to rotate them in because naturally you want them to be able to take and be proud that they can move on to their own command, stuff like that too.
yeah. That's my advice. Employ someone like as good, but also give them a time frame. Say, okay, I'm going to employ you, but in 1 year you might need to move on to find another
Yeah,
position. Be transparent.
yeah, yeah,
So we have a question about Quatam from India. He says people are very talented in ships. I don't know about super yachts. Tell me how we can apply in the super yacht, and as a fresher, it's very tough. I think that super yacht Sunday school seems to be you and I kind of go
yeah,
to at this point with Hugo.
yeah.
We'll
I
get him on here. I think he's got a good platform that when you sign up, he'll go take
Yeah,
you through the steps required. But obviously, STCW, ENG1. Um,
yeah,
remember, yachting's more about service, though. I think
yeah,
people forget that.
yeah. It is, and I've a lot of times swayed towards having somebody that had a bigger service background than necessarily had all the skills that the boating skills, because a lot of times those interpersonal skills are harder to learn than the boating skills. To driving the boat and tying up the boat, those are fairly mechanical and stuff. You'd think it's easier
Systematic.
to teach, but the having someone that's good with people.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big skill that that's pretty valuable with what we do because just knowing how to communicate with others and when to be quiet, when to talk, when not to talk. Those things are very valuable.
Also, doing those basic mechanical skills or docking a tender with a
Yeah,
client asking you about what's for lunch or asking
yeah, yeah,
plans for the afternoon, that's where the levels of challenge come and the levels of stress.
yeah. Being able to do all those things at the same time, I'll never forget. I was kind of training this younger deckhand, and they'd never gotten to drive the tender and stuff, and we took him out every day after at 4. He'd drive around for 30-40 minutes, an hour, or what have you, and he got really good at it. After a couple of weeks, we did it every day after work, and then myself and the bosun, I said, all right, now let's do it like you got guests on. It's like, what do you mean? So we cranked up the music and we just immediately started shouting and just started moving stuff around the boat and running all over the place. And
Yeah,
then I said, now dock the boat and we're just going to continue.
yeah.
And he was fine. He blocked us right out, pulled it
Awesome.
right in. And I was like, see, now you be able to do that 5 times a day.
Yeah. Consistency and stay calm.
Yeah.
Walter's just joined us. If you've got any questions, Walter, feel free to ask. Walter Schmidt seems like a yachting professional. But, it kind of, I think it goes back to, like we do training days on board where I tell two crew, you're the guest. Be the worst guest you could be and take you from the tender to boarding experience. Just that initial joining, because
Hmm.
that's when the stress levels are kind of, everyone's a little bit anxious. The guests are anxious. The crew are anxious.
Yeah.
Who are we dealing with? What type of guests have we got? So, I get two crews. Sometimes it's usually the chef because he's not too involved in that boarding process, and maybe an engineer or one of the stews, and they'd be difficult. Like when you get
Yeah.
off, you don't hold their hand, you offer your
Yeah.
elbow, or every
Yeah.
client's culturally
Shoulder.
different.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely true. It's not just a one size fits all, but that's a great training exercise. I mean, because I tell the crew time and time again is, especially with charters and stuff, it starts when we get that initial conversation on the phone, and
Yeah.
it ends. It doesn't just end when we say goodbye to them in the car. It's everything in between, and it's the follow up with them. Hey guys, we enjoyed having you on. You
Yeah.
know, after that, also, it doesn't just end once you got the tip and you're done. Like in the restaurants, they paid the bill, walk off. See ya.
Yeah, exactly. Well, for most of the crew, it does. I got to admit, for most of the crew, the deck
Yeah,
crew
yeah,
here, they're like, it ends then. It starts and ends then. But for us as captains or heads of department, months
yeah,
before it starts.
yeah,
Like my Alaska season's coming up, and the prep already is with guests, making sure the shoe size is, making sure the activity
yeah,
is booked. But Walter, yeah, he's saying, "Hey guys, looks like you're having a good time here." Yeah, buddy. Yeah, just
yeah.
we're in the yachting industry, two captains talking, and we're trying to raise awareness for people who are struggling in the industry and provide them tools and support. It's a check-in Tuesday as much as it is for each other. I think you and I seem to
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah,
it.
yeah. We probably enjoy it more than everybody
We
else.
last any guests we have. We keep showing up. It's like, and Grumpy Engineer said, "G'day, g'day, Mr. Grumpy Engineer." And
Grumpy.
we had a question. For someone who struggled to find work in the Med last season, would you recommend trying the Caribbean/US instead? Is there less competition there?
I don't know.
Remember, looking for work in US, do not do it. Do not
Yeah,
risk your visa. That's
yeah,
correct.
yep. Do not do it. I mean, you can look from wherever you are to there in the Caribbean. It's similar things. They have similar protocols there. You can't just go there and start looking for work. And definitely try to get it before you get in. That way you have papers and all the docs and everything to get in there legally.
Yeah, I think it is. It's tough too because so many jobs. I'd always wanted to see the success rate of how many jobs are posted to how many actually get filled within that network, like Yachtspot or Meridian Crew, all these great
True.
platforms. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then the ones that then the longevity that is attached with that, like how long do they, even if they got hired, was it a month, 6 months, was it permanent? Did they go
Yeah.
through four people before they got that? Because all that data there is like a lot of times, you're going to get a different person each time you hire somebody because the dynamic changes each time you get a different person.
Yeah, and as a captain, I say a season is great. Like if we can
Yeah,
have the same crew for a season, because things evolve, life changes, things happen. Crew want to progress in their career, so I
yeah,
focus on seasons per se. But it's tough. I think the Med's a little bit more open, and more charter boats are in the Med. It's probably the number one charter
yeah,
location, and with charter boats generally comes a higher turnover. Would you agree with that, Captain Scott?
yeah. I would
Harder.
agree with that. Yeah, I mean the Met is the top, so
Yeah, so I'd say the Med, but then what happens in the Med? Most boats are dual season, or a lot of boats are dual season.
yeah,
So do the Med and then try and get a visa, and which is the B1, B2, and then try and come across.
yeah.
So I hope that answers your question there. We got some other questions. I would love to hop on live with you guys and talk communication, and then walk the talk. Okay. So Walter, just press request to join. We don't
Yeah.
know much about you, Walter, but there's a button there. Is it the people with the two cross, or is it the video with the cross? How do you do
Uh,
it, Scott?
I usually just it asks me, pops up and says, "Hey, request to join," and then I click on it.
Yeah, I
So
usually send you an invite. So
yeah,
anyway, Walter, it's press request to join, or I can invite you to join. But interested to hear your take on it if you're in the yachting industry or know about it or any service-based industry. But this is Check-in Tuesday. It's really designed just for people to make sure we collaborate with each other. I had a great conversation, Captain Scott, today with the Antigua Charter Show.
oh nice,
One of the management staff today, based on the captain's course I did in Casa de Campo
Oh, cool.
and seeing if I could do a similar thing over there.
That'd be great.
But my stress level's still pretty high about the Casa de Campo. It was good, but it was a new
Yeah.
environment, you know?
Well, I'm sure your son will remind you about it.
Oh, yeah, exactly. What's the charges? He's already looking at the car keys. He's like, Dad, you owe me. I'm like, for how long, son? For how long?
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
Walter,
Hey,
isn't it?
it's me. Yeah, do you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
loud and clear, mate.
Awesome.
You good,
Hi, how
Walter?
are you guys? Hi, Scott.
Uh,
So
Well,
it's good.
yeah, whereabouts are you from, Walter?
Switzerland.
oh, nice.
Is that where you are now?
Yes, I am. Actually in a shopping mall somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
And we're from the yachting industry, super yachts in particular. Do you have any questions? Are you from that industry, or?
Well, I'm now in this industry as well as a side business sometimes for 24 years. I
Wow.
wrote the book on super yacht sales, and last year actually I took over the Superyacht Radio that has been led by Maeve and Dave.
Oh,
Ah,
nice.
wow! What a
Yeah,
connection! Well, it's
fantastic.
great to have you on board.
Yeah.
You're a wealth of so you know a lot about yachting, then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much. I also went to MTU in Friedrichshafen, Germany,
Yeah.
to actually learn a little bit about propulsion and also navigation systems that they have. So it was pretty interesting.
So the Super Yacht Radio, is it still going? Because I remember 8 years ago in the Med, I used to listen to it all the time.
Well, they stopped doing it and they didn't make any maintenance for quite a while, 1.5, 2 years. And then I asked Dave what he's doing. And he said, well, nothing. I was like, that cannot be. So I asked him to take it over and I got the clearance. So now I restarted it last year, just one day before I went to the Cannes Yacht Show. I was
Oh,
online. And now I'm building it up a little bit different than before.
Okay, how are you rebuilding? Because I used to love it in the Med. I used to put it on
yeah,
for
it
all
was
the
nice.
crew.
Yeah.
Well, one thing is actually you can send in a request of what kind of music in general that you like to hear as well on the radio. So I'll make sure that it is on as well. But besides that, I extended it from the yachting, not only yachts, but everything has to do around yachts and the owners of the yachts. That means private aircrafts, real estate, luxury resorts, special services like bodyguard companies right now. Also Matthew Barber, I have on the page. So I want to create an environment like for those people in this area
Yeah.
to later also collaborate in between.
Okay. And is it going to be
Oh,
based
very
out
nice.
of Switzerland? You said.
Yeah, now it's in Switzerland with me.
Oh,
Nice.
congratulations, sir! Congratulations, Walter.
That's pretty cool. I wondered kind of what happened to the whole thing, but now we know, and
Yeah,
now we
but
can get back.
that's
Now we can get back into it. Then, excellent.
correct. And you can also send me some information or what you think that you would like to see or hear, whatever it is. And I want to serve the people on both sides, not only on the radio with the music and also some shows that will come up more or less in some few months.
Yeah.
I will, by the way, also with my book, I will make an audio of my book with some explanations and then also examples of the book on super yacht sales,
Yeah, I
which is
haven't
not
seen that
Nice.
one. Is that on Amazon as well? Maybe you could drop a link in the comments.
Yeah, that'd be great.
It's actually on Amazon as well, yeah. But it's not about the process of sales. It's actually about the communication within a process, which
With
I
the
realized that
client.
with
Yeah.
clients or even within the companies itself as well. There are so many issues that creates, yes, exactly. That's what it is.
Fantastic.
Oh, what a
That,
blast! What a pleasure to have you on board.
Fantastic.
likewise,
Top
likewise.
secrets to success.
Very serendipitous, really. Somehow
Yeah.
things all come together, don't it? It's nice.
Oh, well, it's a beautiful industry like this, I think. You know, and it's
It
Walter,
is.
correct?
Yeah, correct. Before, you see on the book, there is still the name Earth, W dot.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, because I changed the name. I have two surnames, and I changed it 5 years ago on my 50th birthday, and I cannot change it on the book, of course.
Yeah, okay. Wow. And what's the top? You know, what's your take on the industry now? What have you seen the trends anyway? What trends have you seen over the last kind of 5, 6 since you published the book?
Well, since I realized that there is a change going on regarding environment protection, this is one issue with the propulsion systems that they're working on it, on bringing it up something new. And what I realized that is there are some confusions in my mind in the yachting industry.
Yeah.
A lot of the people still, they playing like everything is great, but behind the scenes, a lot of them struggle.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
and the reason for, there are different reasons. I mean, you know, it is part of the book. Well, what is written in the book, it's about the ego. I think if we can get rid of our own ego in the process of sales, also in the process of building or
And
exploring
operation.
what else, and operations as well, we could solve so many problems
Yeah.
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 I
when
think
we
that's
work at that. Yeah,
life in general. If life in general, if we reduce the ego, we do a lot better.
correct. But problem is, how do you get rid of it? I mean, even I had years and years, and I still have some egos that I didn't like on myself too. But I
Hmm.
realized more and more. But that's the reason why I came up now with the idea to create a program in the communication. It is the title will be most probably the operations protocol or operators protocol, which also leads into communication into a direction where you can accept the changes within your personality, that you don't feel like you're stuck, but you realize like I'm growing. It's at the end of the day, it's always a growing process that we should aim for,
Yeah.
and being appreciative as well that we have issues and that we have also some weaknesses that we don't want to address too much because we want to go for the strengths.
Yeah, I think
And
it's the judgment too. I think ego is, a lot of times I look at with people with high ego, I think they're putting barriers around themselves to protect themselves from the judgment of others.
it is. I mean, I know it by myself. When I
Yeah.
realize what the problems are, or have been, especially when people judge me without even knowing me.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, that cannot be. And then I found out a way on how to avoid that part,
So
and it works.
I ask you this though, Walter, and I've been thinking about doing this post or coming up with this idea. Like, how many hats do you wear? Like, as a yacht broker, right? A yacht broker
Yeah.
has an image, and it's this image of sitting on a chair with a button-up shirt, relaxed, telling stories. A captain has an image, you know, an engineer has an image. That ego comes with the image. So how do we break
Yes.
down, like, let's say I want to be a yacht broker. I have to change my image to align with being a yacht broker.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. I should be Liam Devlin.
Yeah.
You know, it's one layer is that people expect a kind of also behavior and how you come up and how you approach people.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you are not seen as a broker because the majority has a certain picture. But within that, if you adjust yourself personally inside your brain and also inside your feelings, that you try to play that game as long as it is necessary, but at the same time bringing across, hey, dear client, I'm a broker. Yes, I'm a yacht broker, and I can give you the fucking best yacht that you ever have seen, which actually covers everything you want.
Yeah.
And I'm the only one who can bring it to you because I'm the best and I know everybody
Yep.
and everything.
That's the ego.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the ego. But at the same time that you say, look, I know that not every client is my client. And I completely understand you if you want to look for somebody else. But let's be honest. What is the primary focus that you have as a buyer? Is it the broker? Is it me that you trust in me? Because I bring you everything that you want. So let's build up a relationship in between you and me. Once that is settled and you have trust in me and I can prove it to you step by step and you can ask for whatever you want and I will be brutally honest to you, is that something that you like or you want to be cheated? And then you go forward, and take it step by step and look what happens, and you have to adjust yourself every single moment and ask yourself, are you aware of your awareness? And this consciously. So a lot of people struggle there already because it's typically not the way how people think and act.
Yeah.
Oh, this is an awesome conversation.
Yeah.
Walter.
Yeah. This is really good.
So I saw this post, and I think you're right, because as a broker, you're trying to find your right owners, or you're trying to take away the ego and find the right balance. But the hardest think the hardest form of psychology is the ability to think and control your own thoughts.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what you're saying. Break down that ego and actually go another level into your own psychology.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is the theory. The theory a lot of people get pretty quick. But the tricky part is to bring it into action, the result-oriented action.
And
And
how did you come up?
that's,
What's your journey, Walter? I mean, sorry, Scott. I know this is. I know.
No, no, I'm listening because this is pretty fascinating here. Just hearing the mind of a broker here.
Yeah.
well,
Would you call yourself a broker, though, Walter? I mean, because you're an
no,
entrepreneur, you're a
No.
businessman.
I don't sell boats. I don't
Okay.
sell yachts. Unless someone comes to me and say, I want to buy a yacht with you, then I say, well, you can have me as your trustee, but I choose the
Ah,
broker for you.
Okay. So,
ah,
so you've kind of taken away the hats. You've taken away the ego, and
Yeah.
what's your entrepreneur, businessman? You purchased
yeah,
radio.
Well, the core activity is definitely communication, coaching, training
Okay.
for different levels. And I'm specialized in crisis solution communication because I used to be a police officer for 10 years. I studied psychology and also worked in the military industry in the sales. So I have there the foundation in this regard. And for 24 years also in the yachting industry. And when I started, I had no idea at all. And nobody told me it takes me about 7 years until people just accepted me.
yeah.
Fair enough. So you really do see the trauma that's associated with the yachting industry, and you see the damage that these egos can take.
Yeah, yeah.
And
There
what's
is,
your solution? I mean, because I see all these leadership courses now. Like I went into, I think it was a UK sailing and yachting academy, and there's like 8 leadership courses, and there's 8 mental health courses now, and it's like all of a sudden there's too many groups. So what's your advice to the industry now?
it's a good question, a very hard question, in a certain way. There are a lot of trainings around, also in the yachting industry, for crew training and for captain's training and communication. In my opinion, it's a mix at the end. Because they bring some basics that I don't want to bring, which are the basics that you can find almost everywhere. At the end, I mean, if you dissect it, the techniques and everything else, you find everywhere.
Yeah, every industry.
So that's the generic learning, which is important as well to know that, to have some basics also in trainings. But then it needs to go further, and further means that it becomes really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, if you would be, for example, my client, my trainee, or you wanted to be one of my trainee, one of the questions would be, how hard can I be with you? Because you will, how hard?
How hard? Okay.
Hmm.
So it's about the toughness. Because I will tell you that you will not hear what you want to hear. You will hear what you need to hear. And this is not what you really are comfortable with.
Wow, that goes on so many levels for good. That's probably one of the better leadership traits, I would say.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I know my own experience done some coaching and stuff like that, and that was one of the first things that we went through is that I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear, but I'm here to tell you what you need to hear, and it was fantastic. It's probably one of the best things I've ever done because it also allowed me to open up and get deep into the things that I need to work on, and also made me a more effective communicator with all the relationships I had in my life, and it only gets better because I'm more thoughtful going forward with what I'm doing and what I'm saying, and I like what you said about how we're not just the one dimensional of just this one. You're a captain, you're a broker, but I'm this. I'm like Liam said, I'm Liam, and that's who you are. But everything else is built out from there. That's just an external thing. What you are internally is really what matters, and what you have to get to the bottom of to work on.
Yeah, obviously, Walter, you're a lot more educated than I am in this field of the law, especially with the police background. but I did a talk recently with a lot of captains in Dominican Republic, and I said, you got to know the who. Who am I? The
Yeah.
what do I want, and why do I want it? And
Yeah.
that's just in my mind. That's not an educational, it comes up in my mind. Who am I? I'm Liam. What do I want? Look after my family. Why do I want it? Because that's my faith. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And even there, I mean,
that it makes you more comfortable.
yeah, as well, and because you get to know yourself better. And when you say let's say I'm Walter. When I say I'm Walter, no, I'm not Walter. Walter is just my name. Now the question who I am, it really defines by the end where it goes with my journey based on the goal that I set. And this is not something that goes just from one day to the other one. It's really something that you have to dig deep, and you have to accept a lot of circumstances that you are not aware right now of it. But it brings you to a level that also the inner calmness comes in. Your relaxation, your internal relaxation, no matter what happens outside, is raising up and it gets more strengthened. And this also brings you into a position, whatever comes up, you can deal with it much easier. And you spread out much more, even more positivity. I mean, you both guys, you are very positive. I can see that on the faces, but
It helps. It helps.
It helps. But that's this never has an end. This is a starting point all the time. Every single new time, this is a starting point. From the reset, again, starting. But it's a beauty. Once you realize, that's what happened for me. Once I realized that the journey is more interesting than the goal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen
Oh,
to
yeah.
that. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, you as
even owners say, when am I getting somewhere? I said, I don't know. It depends. Let's
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah.
the process. Let's enjoy this.
Yeah.
correct. I mean, you as a captain anyway, you know that better than I do because you are on the boat. You're going somewhere because you have a goal. Your owner says, the client says, well, I want to go there. Okay, that's the direction. But the beauty is the journey to the direction. Once you're
Yeah.
there, now what's next?
Yeah, I see
it's-
my own children though, but Scott as well. Have you got children, Walter? Or
I got a son, 17.
so my son is 16, turning 17 in 2 weeks. They don't understand that. Like I say, that was a great experience, son. He's like, it was all right. We went to the beach. I'm like, no, but I'm like really passionate about the journey. He's
Yeah.
like, we just went to the beach. I said, no, but the process to get there. But I think the older you get, I think you start to value those things
Yeah.
so much more and value yourself.
Yeah. Well, I was saying the other day I was actually on it's a group coaching call, and we were talking about. I said one of the guys was from San Diego, and I said, "Oh, San Diego, I used to live there." And they said, "Oh, really? How was it?" I said, "It was great, but I was too young to appreciate it." And they said, "Well, were you really little?" I said, "No, I was in my 20s." I said, "I just blew through there like every other place I'd ever been." And then when I went back when I was older, I said, "Wow, I really missed this, and this." And like, wow, this is standing there on the beach. I saw all these things that came back to me like, wow, I really missed it because it was such a blur back then.
So someone just joined called Jordan Lee O'Connor, and she radiates like goodness now and positivity. And I've seen her in different stages of her career, but she now has valued herself. And I hope you don't mind me saying, Geordie, but I see it in her. And that's kind of what you're talking about, is the value of self, not just who am I, Liam. I am someone who wants to give and wants to be positive and support others.
It's also a huge part that it goes even deeper. Because for myself, I think I'm not even yet there regarding the question who I am. I'm very close to, I think so, but I could be wrong too. And also that's a constant process because I change by myself as well. So I change myself by personalities. That means that I am right now, but tomorrow I am maybe different.
Yeah.
But there is a basic behind it as well. But I don't even know if it's really worth to go that deep to that basic, because that requires so much time and effort to go there and to go thought-wise, I don't know, out of the space somewhere.
Yeah. That's that's internal self-reflection. Like I'm reading a book called Ikigai. Have you heard of this?
No, no,
Nope,
no.
So
no.
Ikigai is the four principles of Japanese longevity. It's
Oh, okay,
what's
okay.
my purpose? Who am I? You know what I mean? How to support the community. I forget what the four principles are, but it supports the reason why the Japanese people in the south of Japan, Okinawa, live longer than anyone else. Because their purpose is not to work and then retire. Their purpose is to provide a good life for themselves and their community forever. And that takes away that short term goal that when you retire, that's the end. No, the
Yeah,
journey is now. The life is now.
yeah. The
Well,
journey is always.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just look, those people, the successful, wealthy people that work all the time, typically those that I know, they live longer than the average because they
Hmm.
have a purpose. As
Yeah.
soon as
Yeah.
people are retired, also in Switzerland, you can recognize so many times the people, they say, "Oh, when I'm retired, I'm going to enjoy life, going for a ride, whatever it is." Maybe they'll live another 2, 3 years after retirement
Yeah.
if they
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
lucky. They're
Yeah.
done because they have no purpose anymore.
Yeah. So how does
And
someone find their purpose? Like for me, I'm very blessed because I've loved the ocean. And even to this day, I sit in a
Yeah.
dock in Seattle and I'm like, please take me out there today. I just want to go there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
that's been who from my grandfather as a captain and a ship's cook, and my journey for some reason just I'm attracted to ocean and water, and that's my why, you know.
Yeah.
But how do people know what their purpose is?
well, that's diverse. There are people that know it from the beginning as from childhood, in my perspective,
Yeah.
I
Yeah. There
realized.
are.
And there are other people that are searching the whole life. But there is a way to find your purpose that it actually belongs to you. But there is also the big part of the ego and also of the fear, what other people think about you,
Yeah.
which it doesn't matter at all. But most people, they do matter, or they think that it does matter, and they do everything but not what they really like to do. And they make their tax on, oh, this is important, no, that's not important. But that's a judgment by themselves. It doesn't make sense most of the time.
Yeah, but it does. I don't know, because I struggle with people's judgment of why, like, you know, a lot of crew in the past. I've been tough on these crew to make them better people, and they have been better people. But the judgment of others, doesn't it wear on you, or you have to release yourself from that?
I started stopping making any judgment to a human being. I do judge their actions,
Okay.
Ah.
but not the person which actually does the actions.
Yeah. That's something I've
Yeah.
always thought about, and I think we talked about this before. Liam, was that I'm not as sympathetic towards people as the older I get, but I'm much, much more empathetic in
Yeah.
that I try to understand where they're coming from, and I don't judge pass judgment because I don't know. I haven't walked through their shoes, and there's things that maybe have built up over time that really I can't really understand or have been through. So I understand that a lot because it's you know everybody has their own path. You know.
Well, this is one thing, and secondly, if you dissect the person from the actions, I mean, if somebody kills someone, I don't hate that person, but I hate the actions they did. So I judge
Yeah.
and act based on on the actions they took. Because if it's not right, there has to be done some things. You can't just let them go. But that
Mhm.
doesn't mean that I hate them as a human. So that's for me the dissections.
Okay, and but you're a life coach then, Walter. Am I reading this?
Yeah.
Am I reading this right?
Part of it.
Is that correct, Walter? You're an entrepreneur. You've taken over Superyacht Radio, but your advice is on a different level to
Yeah.
98% of the world's population, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I also want to go for this principle of the top down, because to me, in my perspective, it makes more sense to approach CEOs, business owners, that they change, because if they change, the company changes. But if I start, let's say, with the lowest employees regarding the structure of the company, to go upwards is harder.
Hmm.
And in between, there are also other people. So it depends what the actions are that I'm take for. But the Superyacht Radio is also part of a tool, not only for me, but also for other companies, that are on the radio, to use that. But the influential part to make this world kind of a better place with the way how I try to teach people and train people in communication, it is a tool for me, the radio as well. And I think it's a great tool to use. That I also have profit out of that.
Yeah.
And that's the way I'm going for.
Okay, so Superyacht Radio is one of your bigger projects now, correct?
Is one of the bigger projects. The other one, of course, is the communication, which
Yeah.
is going to be even bigger than at the moment, because I think it's important.
What's the communication one?
The name of the company?
Is that the name of the company, Communication?
No, it's actually the website Success by Communication. That's about the communication part.
Success by Communication. I'm just looking at that because I want to put it in the comments below as well.
Nice.
Success by Communication. And these are based with... Okay. Or maybe drop them in a link or DM me this, because you've got my Instagram, and I'd love to continue the conversation, because I think it resonates kind of what Scott and I are doing, like the Check-In Tuesday. The purpose of this is just as a message, as a tool for people to use to say, you're not alone in the world. We can be better human beings if we collaborate with each other and break down those boundaries of ego and attitude. Like, as a captain, I can be ego. I can have that. I can tell the crew, that's dusty. That's a terrible job. That's horrible.
Yeah.
But over my years, that doesn't grow good human beings.
No, that's not going to bring it. It's not going to make them better, you know.
There's a place for it. A standard is a standard. You either are above the standard or you're below the standard. But you have to be clear what the standard is. But before we go, Walter and Captain Scott, I want to touch on one more thing. Forgiveness. Yes. Where does forgiveness fall into this, the psychology of being a better human and letting go then? Because that's obviously baggage, correct?
Well, forgiveness to me is a very crucial part. If you can't forgive, you can't change. Because forgiveness is nothing, it doesn't give you the right for the other person to do or continue, let's say, harming you. But forgiveness is some things, because if you can forgive, you forgive yourself as well.
Yeah.
Forgiveness means you can reset your emotional part to zero, because once you are in the emotion and not forgiving, meaning you are still in the emotion.
Yeah.
And if you're in an emotion, as you know, as a captain as well, if there is a stormy emotion, doesn't have space. You have to act accordingly to the situation.
Yeah.
So there is no space for that kind of ego. With forgiveness, you can calm down your spirit, but that doesn't mean that you do not judge somehow. You still can judge eventually some people, even you have forgiven for. But there is not this heaviness anymore, not only on your side, also on the other side's part. Forgiveness means relief.
Yeah. And Carol Ann has put down, forgiveness is a gift to yourself.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
So it's a gift to yourself, releasing yourself from the burden of that person's decisions or that interaction.
Absolutely. She's totally right.
Oh, thank you, Carol. And Uriel, hey brother, Uriel's an engineer I've worked with before. He's a beautiful man. So how can people get a hold of you?
Well, one is the superyachtradio.com.
Yep. And is it live yet? Is it back up and running?
It's up and running, 24/7 music, and also the shows, or also, what is it? Some interviews now that comes up here and there. And also my book, as I said, I will go chapter by chapter, record it, and also bring up some examples within the chapters. And this will be then like a 60 or 120 serial, not live, recorded of course, but always on the same day at the same time. I will check out what will be the best then.
Okay, and then you're gonna put that on a blog on Superyacht Radio, or you're gonna put it on the other platform?
Nice.
It will be on Superyacht Radio. not on another platform at the moment. Maybe later on somewhere else. So it's not yet in the planning phase. So it's really I'm focusing on the Superyacht Radio page only at the moment.
Cool. And Scott, have you heard Superyacht Radio before? Like in the past?
A while back, I kind of
Yeah.
like you, it kind of faded off, and I didn't remember what happened to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but also like there were all those other radio things that came on streaming as well that came on, and it kind of just faded in with all. I thought maybe it got taken over by or bought out by one of the bigger radio things and became just another channel. But I hadn't seen it. I truthfully hadn't given it a thought for quite some time till now. But definitely going to be listening in now for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they did a great job, Dave and Maeve. They really did a great job. But I don't know exactly the real reason why they gave it up or stopped maintaining it. But it was good for me. I mean, I could get the chance to take over the Superyacht Radio. And by the way, it's the only Superyacht Radio on the entire planet that is really also with the music stuff. There is another radio which is a podcaster. It's not a radio.
Yeah. Yachting International Radio, right?
Correct. They don't have the radio. They have the podcast. It's a great podcast platform. Absolutely. I'm not going into that field. They do it better, and it's their job, and it's not mine. But the radio really is the only one. That's the beauty on it. And you can also...
all wireless. Like it's for me, background noise has such a place for me. Like when I'm working, just a quiet noise. And the older I get, the less it's the rhythm and the beat. It's more slower jazz and bar and wellness orientated. But it's still that noise. Really excited. Really, thank you so much for joining, Walter. I know you're a busy man, and I really appreciate you taking this moment.
I thank you that you take me in there for this conversation. But I mean, it was a coincidence. I just checked out and said, "Oh, you're live." And I recognized Scott, you know. I said, "Oh, let's hear."
Nice.
There's a couple of people commenting there about, great to know Superyacht Radio is back. There's a couple of people commenting already.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
We're going to try and get a bigger audience.
Yeah, super. And with you two guys, one after the other one would love to make an interview as well for the Superyacht Radio. So,
love it.
Send me a message and I'll send you back and we'll find a date and time.
Yeah, that would be great.
It'd be fun to do it live one time, do it at like a Palm Beach boat show, or I always kind of thought that, like a live. Cause I like live. Live is you say it as you think, some of that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's fine too. I'm up for whatever. I think it'd be fantastic to get the word back out there, and whatever I can do to help, that'd be fantastic.
Appreciate it very much.
And you're going to go to any of the shows, the Palm Beach show, or you're going to promote it that way, or more of a digital?
I think this year I will focus more like the past few years first on Monaco Yacht Show, most probably the Cannes Yacht Show as well, and the Malta Yacht Show. But I will plan also in the future to go to many, many, much more shows. I also like the airplane, the private aircraft shows that exist, so that I can cover up that part as well, live on site sometimes. Because that's also something that I like to see and do some things for them.
Perfect. All right, well, towards the end, I'd like to recap it a little bit. So we've got Walter here, who's written a wonderful book called Super Yacht Sales. That's the book there. He's also taken ownership, correct, of Superyacht Radio? Yes,
correct.
Awesome. Has joined us just out of the blue, which is a special start to a check-in Tuesday. We had some great people from the audience, but we talked a bit deep today. We talked about judgment. We talked about forgiveness. We talked about ego. What are some of the other things we talked about, Captain Scott or Walter?
The main thing which ties them all together is the communication. That we all work on that, and it will definitely make everything better for all of us.
Yeah. And at the end, it's about the relationship. If you build relationship with whoever it is, privately, professionally, as strong the relationship becomes, the better it becomes the business and your entire life as well.
Perfect. And then I'll always say, be yourself. The ocean brings out who you really are, and the world brings out who you really are. So the more honest you are with yourself in the mirror every day, I think the better human being you can be to the people around you.
Absolutely. I signed that one.
Stay safe, gentlemen. I'm going to end it there, Captain Scott, because I feel blessed, man. I really cannot thank you. I didn't know
This
what we
was
were doing
meant to be.
today. Yeah,
This
it's
was
meant to
meant to
be.
be.
You know, I didn't know
Meant to
what we were
be.
doing today. I said, let's just see who's out there in the world. Let's see who's out there. And the first
Love
guest
it.
we had didn't even know what industry we're in. And I was like, oh, it's really good. You know?
Yeah, it
And
was
then I was,
went from one extreme to the next. This was
yeah,
quite
yeah,
quite
yeah.
serendipitous how it turned out here.
Well,
Correct.
everyone,
You see that one.
oh, yeah. Superyacht Radio.
So
Oh.
Nice.
Everyone, tune in, Super Yacht Radio. It's going to be now live on Motor Yacht Unbridled. We're going to have it in the background. I'm going to blast
Same here.
all the crew areas. I really thank you, Walter and Captain Scott, as always. Be safe. All my best to your family, and look forward to speaking next Tuesday. And then we'll definitely send Walter, send me a DM, or I'll send you a DM. We'll have a chat. So I'm looking forward
I'll
to
do the same.
super. Appreciate it. Thank you very much and take care, guys.
Thank you,
Bye. Be
guys.
blessed.
Bye bye.